I'm in the studio of the Historic Photo Archive, which is a business run by Tom Robinson, who is a photo archivist. He's also a photographer, a master printer, and a collector of many things. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to move right into his kitchen here soon. Hey, Tom. So now tell us, what is this thing that you've got here on the table?
This is a single frame telecine, a device that plays a 8mm film and plays it one frame at a time. The projector here is connected to a computer, and so is a Nikon digital camera. Each time a new frame drops into the gate, the claw triggers a micro switch, which is connected to a computer mouse. The computer then instructs the camera to take a picture, so that every time a new frame comes into the gate, a still camera takes a picture of the frame. And what you wind up with is a file of sequentially numbered frames that play back digitally as a movie.
Now, is this kind of like your invention? Tell me, like, is this something you've been working on for a while? Do other things like this exist?
Yes.
Okay.
But they're not quite like this.
All right.
They do not drop in other words, they don't trigger a still camera.
Oh, okay.
The advantage to this is that it's the only 8mm transfer in the world that can do high definition.
Oh, wow. Now, would there be?
Would you like to see this?
Yeah, let's see it happen. Okay.
Here is the machine at work. It's not very quick, but you can see the claw dropping a new frame into the gate, and then when it's in there, it triggers the switch.
Oh my God.
So the camera takes a picture every time.
Wow. So this is a new way of making home movies, kind of, or
of transferring them.
Transferring them. Okay.
Digitizing them.
Now, did you get this idea because you've been collecting home movies? I mean, you're an archivist of all kinds of old things, no?
Yes, I got this idea because I have thousands of home movies, many of them showing Oregon locations, and I want to make movies. I want to use elements of each one of these. And for example, I provided all of the elements to the University of Oregon's film about the Vanport flood.
Okay.
I owned 3 different photographers' home movies. One of them was an aerial photographer, and I had a lot of stills and other things like maps. And that film just won a regional Emmy last week.
Congratulations.
For the best regional documentary. So old home movies are a very rich source of visual information, but they don't do much good in a drawer.
Okay.
So there needs to be a way to digitize them, and I just simply thought, there's got to be a better way than the way that everybody is doing it now. So I'm trying to design a machine and build one for maximum quality.
This was the issue. In other words, people were doing it, but the quality wasn't that great. Is what you're telling us?
Exactly
the way they were transferring it lost a lot of information.
Well, it certainly wouldn't do high definition.
It wouldn't do high definition in this way.
You could not regulate the playback speed to slow things way down if you wanted to. And you did not have the opportunity to retouch individual frames in Photoshop if it was necessary to.
Now you're able to do that.
That's right.
So when you did this Vanport movie, some of this is it found film, or people have given you the film?
That's right. That's right.
You're sometimes using found film, though, aren't you? I mean, aren't you someone who's got anonymous
garage sales,
right?
estate sales,
right?
auctions, people give it to me.
And this kind of sprung out of the historic photo archive. In other words, the glass. You were interested in photography initially, no? Before
Yes.
movies, let's just say.
Yes, I was interested in still photography.
Still photography.
And what my philosophy is that the only original is what was in the camera at the time the picture was taken.
Right.
This is much different than the average collector or museum curator's opinions. They believe what Ansel Adams said, which is the print is what the photographer produces, and the negative is just an intermediate step.
Oh, but
The,
you look
the negative itself is not the main thing, and I disagree.
You disagree.
But that is, the negative is the thing. It is the only thing that was there when the photograph was taken. The negative contains more information than any print ever will. The print is, in fact, a copy of the negative.
Yes.
Although it may be interpreted by a photographer very differently.
Right.
From just the standpoint of information, that is where the best available source. So
It's all in the neck.
So over 20 years ago, I started collecting negatives, and there were maybe a dozen negative collectors in the nation. Now there's a dozen on every block in every city,
Right.
because scanners have made it possible for people to make prints and replicate them without a darkroom.
Okay, but you had to do it the long way, right? You had to do it the hard way. You became one of the best printers in the state, right?
Yes,
You
I
didn't
was
have
Ray
that-
Atkinson's last printer.
Okay.
I print for photographers all over the nation. I do work for the federal government. So.
And you're doing it the old-fashioned way, right?
That's right.
Which is?
Chemical darkroom prints,
Okay, all right.
archival fiber prints. These are guaranteed to last hundreds, if not thousands of years. They are the most permanent photographic process known. And the federal government has me print negatives in case something happens to the negative, such as it breaks or deteriorates or gets lost. The print I make will be the proxy for it throughout the future.
Okay, and
So-
you also, your collection, didn't you donate some of these negs and what have you to the University of Oregon? I mean,
My entire estate is willed to the university at their request.
nice.
And in the last 20 years, I've bought over 3,000 photo studios and deceased photographers to get their film and negatives. When my collection is combined with the university's, it'll be the largest and best collection of Western Americana photographs in existence. And by largest, I mean it'll have the most amount of film. It'll be larger than the Historic Society or the Oregonian or any other large collection. It'll be the best because our holdings are primarily in negatives and original film.
Okay.
Whereas most other historic
Is in
societies
prints.
are prints, postcards, and copies.
Now, since you've been doing this for a while, I suppose there are some people that would say, "Oh, all the best is taken up." But is that really true? Would you say there's still a lot out there to discover?
There is an enormous amount of material out there to discover. Probably 2.5 million pictures a year come in, which is a lot of work to organize and catalog, but we try and keep up with it.
Right.
However, the digital revolution has completely altered the way that photographs will be collected in the future.